will be J.Q. Liu. He's following the pathways and will be delivering his second speech entitled Researching and Presenting. His research topic is a brief history on the recently acquired hobby of judo.
All right.
Let's welcome J.Q. to the lecture.
Good morning, Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Today, I would like to bring you on a journey to explore a brief history of judo. But before doing so, I'd like to share a little bit of my own martial art history. In middle school, I started training a Chinese martial art called Choi Fan, which was a combination of Shaolin Kung Fu and two other styles. That didn't last long. I trained maybe for about a year. Either my mom ran out tuition money to fund me to continue, or I ran out discipline to continue. Maybe both. I don't know. In high school, I didn't train in martial arts. I spent most of my energy on 4 years of JROTC, which was the junior version of ROTC. In college, I was introduced to judo by a friend. His name was Alan Kim, Korean, introduced me to Japanese martial art. That didn't last long either, because I wanted to focus more on my schoolwork instead of martial arts. I was double majoring. After college, and after finding a job, I had the money to fund whatever hobbies I wanted. So I started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in 2016. I fell in love with it, and I haven't stopped training ever since. Except for injuries here and there and relocation for my job. About a year ago, I started cross-training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with Judo. And that leads us to today's topic, Judo. I'll start by defining what Judo means in Japanese. It literally translates to the gentle way. It is a system of unarmed combat involving throws, pins, and applying pressure to the arm joints. The genesis of Judo was in 1882. It was created by a Japanese man named Kano Jigoro. To put that time frame in perspective, the American Civil War was just 20 years prior to the genesis of Judo. In 1902, backtrack a little bit. Before founding Judo, Kano Jigoro, he trained in various jiu-jitsu schools in Japan for Japanese samurais. Some of those schools involved striking, using weapons, and also training in full samurai armor. However, he wasn't trained to be a samurai. He was actually, according to a book called The Judo Memoir of Juno Kano, he had an academic background. He started studying English at age 7. He studied Japanese calligraphy. He even studied the 4 Chinese Confucian classics texts. That makes him a nerd. And that's precisely why he wanted to learn martial arts, because he was bullied in school. He didn't want to be a samurai. So after years of training in different jiu-jitsu arts in Japan, learning how to use weaponry and learning the way of a samurai, he eventually developed his own style. And he later called it Judo. And this system, he eliminated the dangerous techniques from the traditional jiu-jitsu training. He stressed more on what he called free practice, which was the light sparring part of it with a partner, as opposed to the traditional way of prearranged forms and techniques where you train by yourself. With that, at age 22, In 1882, remember 20 years prior to that was the American Civil War, he started his own dojo in a Buddhist temple, which later he called the Kodokan. Throughout the Kodokan's history, it moved about 4 times, and currently today it is located in Tokyo. The first exposure of judo in Western society was actually 3 years prior to the founding of the Kodokan. In 1879, the then US President, Ulysses S. Grant, visited Japan and was demonstrated judo by the Japanese. However, it's not until 1889, 7 years after the creation of judo by Kano Jigoro, he had the first American student. It was a professor from Yale University. He liked judo so much, he decided to spend 10 years at the Kodokan training judo under Kano. In 1902, a Japanese by the name of Yamashita Yoshiaki moved to the States and eventually introduced the art of judo to the then president, Teddy Roosevelt. Roosevelt liked it so much that in a letter to his son, Kermit Roosevelt, he wrote, "The art of jiu-jitsu," which is judo, "is worth more in every way than all of our athletics combined." Those are strong words. And with that, and 2 world wars in between, the judo competitions were first introduced in the Olympic Games in Tokyo in 1964. The women's judo Olympic competition began in 1992. In the present day, the Kodokan is not just a place to practice dojo, to practice judo. It is also a research facility. It has labs for study of psychologies in judo players. It has labs dedicated to the physiological study of judo players. It also has a lab dedicated to study the physical strength of judo players in the Olympic Games. Now, I don't think I'll ever make it to the Olympic Games, so I'll never have my